So, as we said before that, how do you detect a fraudulent transaction? You detect a fraudulent transaction by checking the signature. Signature does not match, you cannot use it, or the transaction does not exist in the database. You said you had a credit, no credit was found. I looked through the entire database and never found such a transaction. Looking through the entire database is 50 GB of data. Okay? It is not easy. So, there is a challenge. So, we have these software which is called nodes or Bitcoin nodes or cryptocurrency nodes, which just do this. So, whenever a transaction comes to it, it validates it against the entire ledger and either accepts it or rejects it. If everybody accepts it, it is a valid transaction. If everybody rejects it, it is an invalid transaction, and it gets, I mean, it is just lying out there. It does not benefit anybody. So, this is the process of verification. But now, as we said, but suppose I do it, okay? Suppose I want to defraud the system. I create this fraudulent transaction which should have been rejected, and I broadcast it into the network, okay, saying that the transaction has happened. Where will it get stopped? Okay. Now, the network consists of, if all of us are Bitcoin or cryptocurrency participants, okay, we have to have this software on our machines. Just as if you want to participate in the currency network, you need to have an ATM card and a bank account and things like that. Okay. So, now you see in this huge network, there are some people who are called the full nodes and some people are called the light nodes. The full node wallas, they carry the entire 50 GB ledger along with them. Okay. The light nodes, I mean, not all of us can always carry 50 GB of data on our system all the time. What we do is, we have a wallet which only keeps track of my transactions, whatever came to me and whatever I have sent out. So, when I want to send some money to you, I just collect my inward credits, create an outward credit and say, boss, I am making a payment. Now, it is up to all the others who are full nodes to verify that. Okay. And that is the task that they are doing, and that is the I am saying, that is, they have the big software, they have the full database, and they will verify all this. Okay. If all of these people who are full nodes, they accept it, your transaction is goods. If they do not accept it, your transaction is bad. Now, it could so happen that some of them accept a transaction and you have formed a cartel. Okay, you and 3 of my friends, we said that we will have fake transactions, you please say yes on my one, you also please say yes on my one. Okay. Now, this will work as long as 51% of the network is compromised. If more than half the people in the network agree to collude to this fraud, then the fraud can happen to an extent. But because there are so many nodes happening, this collusion is almost very, very difficult. Okay. It is like saying all the banks in the world collude to give me a fake transaction. I mean, in principle it is possible, but in reality it has never happened. Oh, thousands, millions of them. It is not 50, 60, it is of the order of thousands and thousands and or order millions almost. Okay. So, I will tell you what, there is a whole thing around it, okay. We will see. So, the point is, so because of this, we now have a mechanism by which if these full nodes, they validate all this, and I mean most of them are honest, we have a good way of doing so. I mean, this currency thing works. Now, let us move forward. Why would anybody take all this trouble? So, how does this verification process go? So, what we have is on the left a set of unverified transactions on the left. Each of those represent a set of unverified transactions, okay, which contain inputs and outputs, unverified. Now, the actual verifiers will take this transaction, they will validate it against their entire 50 GB database. Okay. So, I can validate, I validate say 10 of them, you validate another 10 of them, okay. There may be overlaps. Okay. After validating these transactions, I put them into what is called a block. So, I create another block. Okay. So, you have made one block, I have made another block, both of us have valid transactions. Whose block is accepted? Next question. Also tied into the concept of why will you spend your precious CPU and energy resources to do all this thing. So, now 4 of us have validated a bunch of transactions, which could be an overlapping set, which could be a disjoint set. Okay. Now, we already have a series of verified blocks historically going back to 2009. Now, a new block has appeared, which contains some verified transactions. Okay. We have to now win a lottery. So, validation is not enough. So, you have a valid set of because verifying transactions is a quick job. You know, it is a 50 GB search, a 50 GB search, you know, using good fast technology is not a big thing, few seconds. But there is a lottery, and the lottery is I have to create what is known as a number. I have to find a number, and the number has to be below a certain level, which is difficult. So, it is like tossing coins and you have to get a number. Okay. Now, whoever wins the lottery, his block is accepted and placed in the blockchain. Okay. And the number is generated like this, you can see it out here. You have the previous block's ID, you have the new set of transactions, you add a unknown number called nonce to it, it is called a nonce, nonsensical number, it is called nonce. Then you do all this and you run a hash on this. If the hash begins certain number of zeros in front, you are done. Whoever gets that wins the lottery and he gets into the blockchain. And what is the reward for all this? You get 12.5 bitcoins for doing all this effort. And 12.5 bitcoins is worth, it's about $700 or a bitcoin today, is a lot of money. It used to be 25 bitcoins until about 3 months back, but it has halved now, it is 12.5 bitcoins. So, that is the reward that you get for taking all this trouble. Okay? And that is what drives the engine onward. That is the sweat equity, okay, of the company which is being paid to you as a reward for your helping the company validate transactions. That is the beauty of this whole system. Okay. See, once we have got that nonce, it is easy to verify that nonce, but to get that nonce is difficult. If I ask you to keep on tossing coins until you get 20 heads is painful, but if you have got 20 heads, I can see, yeah, you have got 20 heads. So, verifying your work is easy, but to doing the work, it's called proof of work. So, you have done this proof of work, hence your thing will get the prize and you get to add another extra transaction into the blockchain, which does not have inputs, but only one output towards you. See, that is it's called a special transaction, which awards you money without needing a input from somebody else, and that is known as the coin based transaction. Okay. So, this is the reward that people get for doing this thing, and as of now thousands of people are running these validation programs and trying to win this reward. Approximately every 10 minutes a reward is handed out, and every 10 minutes somebody earns 12.5 bitcoins, and that is how the system keeps moving forward on and on and on. Okay. And no one has been able to breach it so far. I mean, there is no theoretical, believe me, there is no Ponzi scheme, there is nothing out here. the software is there in the public domain, anybody can see it, there is no cheating, no thing, nothing going on. Okay. There has been theft of bitcoins. Theft is different from a currency attack. I can walk into a bank, show my gun and walk away with a lakh of rupees. That is a theft. That is not a corruption of the currency system. A corruption is if somebody prints fake currencies. Okay. In the world of Bitcoin, the printing of fake currencies has not happened, thefts have happened, because people make stupid mistakes and the money gets drained out. Okay. So, this is the whole concept of how this whole thing works. Now, what is the mining process? It is a self-sustaining mechanism. Okay. So, we have a pool of unvalidated transactions. So, you as a miner can validate the transactions. Okay. You demonstrate a proof of work by winning the lottery and collect the rewards, and this keeps the cryptocurrency, crypto economy moving forward, so on and so forth. Okay. So, now what we have at the bottom is the blockchain of validated transactions, and that is called the blockchain. Okay. That is the database of all valid transactions which are there. Okay. And it is publicly available. You can just go in, you can just, if you install the software on your machine, and it will just replicate. First it will take a long time, 50 GB has to come down to your machine. After that it will be a it will be a daily process. Okay. So, currently it is 50 GB. Okay. And the expectation is it is lot of technology goes into compressing the data, all kinds of special technology is used, and as of today we believe that even if the number of Bitcoin transactions reaches the same level